Today we're sharing a video on connecting with the heart chakra. So I wanted to expand a little bit on the connection exercise that I shared in the introductory video called Navigating Through Connecting with Heart. And in that video, I talked about how there is a sense of the heart chakra that goes outside the body that I explored in dance. So before I go into that exercise and the enormous ability to connect with your heart through it, I wanted to share some of the interesting things about the heart chakra that make it an enormous place for us humans to evolve. In some of my other videos, I've mentioned how as we're moving through the age of artificial intelligence, that we have a really wonderful opportunity to expand our lives into our spiritual growth, into the raising of our consciousness, because hopefully in a couple of decades, we won't have to do some of the more menial tasks, such as gathering food, etc. Now, some people will love to keep doing that. In fact, some people might really discover their love of gardening and start to continue that. But one of the most important things is, how do we give meaning to anything? And in my experiments in dance, through exploring the heart space, that circle that comes from the arms and our hands, like you would have in a beautiful ballroom dancing scenario, or like you would have in any sort of qigong work that you do when you're feeling that energy of the heart center, or how you would have when you're looking to embrace someone and running towards them at the airport, or waiting for them after a long period of absence. You open up your arms and you're just wanting them to come into that space. That heart space is an enormous potential, and it's where we can open to our possibility. I said in the description for the video, accepting your possibility, but also this is about accepting our possibility as a human species to evolve. The heart center, the heart chakra, is all about that, accepting that we're not just our thoughts, we're not just our emotions, and we're not just our physical body. We are actually a consciousness that wants to evolve. But what are we evolving into? We're going to look at that in another video later about the unknown. We need to explore this heart space as a way to really fully embrace the potential of the human species. And because I've done a lot of different dance forms, when I explored salsa, I danced with a lot of different partners. And every time I worked with someone, I'd have enormous experiences in this heart space. Sometimes not so great feelings came up, and everything was possible. Everything was allowable, because in the heart space, it's a place to explore. And that's what I discovered in dance, dancing with other people, but also dancing in qigong work or in energy healing, and feeling the movement meditation work that I do, what was invoked in that heart space. So what I can just recommend for you right now is just to feel. Now, this is a really funny exercise because it involves our underarms. What does it feel like when you lift your hands, and you can have them open wide so you can feel a bit of energy underneath your armpits? It might feel a bit weird. Your underarms might be another term that you can relate to, but just feel like there's a lightness underneath the underarms as you open up your arms, keeping the hands wide enough as if you're about to welcome someone into that space between your hands, and you're feeling some energy or lightness underneath your arms, underneath your underarms, and you feel a little bit of a lift or a lightness there. And as you're feeling that lightness underneath your underarms, notice any emotional feelings of joy or heart feelings that you'd like to invite into that space. that's created by the circle of your arms. So you can keep your eyes open or you can have them closed, but just notice as you're getting that lightness underneath the underarms, what can you feel as a sense of joy or welcoming between your hands and in that circle created by your arms and the hands waiting to embrace someone or something? It could be just a sense of being tickled. I know some of my experiences being tickled weren't that pleasant, but it's almost like you're feeling that sense of something exciting coming into your life, and that sense of possibility, that sense of, oh, I don't know what's going to happen, but it could be great. So you just allow that feeling to come into the space created by the circle of the arms. And then I'm just going to relax my hands now. And then the second piece, if you want to continue, is just to keep feeling in your heart center what you feel after trying that exercise. You might be feeling your arms are tired from having them lifted, or you might feel something else in the heart space, the heart center. That simple exercise that we use in dance, many dances, a lot of the Brazilian dances, the Afro Samba, a lot of folkloric dances have the arms up like the Debki. The Middle Eastern dances are always about having the hands up to the heavens and invoking that space above us and celebrating the heavens. A lot of the folkloric dances, a lot of the Sufi dance celebrates the space above us, which also opens up to our potential to grow spiritually or to explore that space above us, whatever that space is. So that's a really quick way of talking about the heart space. Through the dance, I've explored other subtle differentiations. I can't even say that word, differentiations of the space. So it's a lot always connected to the feeling of each dance that we do. The feeling of a joyful song will be very different to, say, maybe a more heartbroken song that could affect the space. But it's also very affected by the community or the culture that created the dance and what they were experiencing as well. And then after hundreds of years, that dance can go through evolutions. If you look at something like salsa, it's a more recently evolved dance, and it was about picking up or sharing your energy with other people. It was about meeting people, engaging in a fun way. So there's a lot of fun that's brought into that dance. So I've mentioned this before, your intent and the feeling of the music and the culture will flavor the heart space. So if you're looking at expanding your heart space, the most important thing is your intent. What do you want to do it for? And what do you want to open up to? Because the heart space is about being open to everything. So you want to be very clear about what you want to open up when you open up your heart. It could be just simply to open up and to experience what that is. Sometimes when we say that, though, we can invite situations that may feel unsafe or may feel a bit too much for us. So it's about being sensitive to that. If things are too much, maybe you need to share about that difficulty with someone so you can process what you're opening up to. Or maybe it's just experiencing things when you open up that heart space that may be alien to you. You've not done it before, so it's new. So how can you share as well that process when you start to open up? And that's what I do with a lot of people when we develop their sense of self, whether they're recovering from trauma, whether they're exploring their selves intuitively, whether they're growing into just a fuller acceptance of who they are. Sometimes you're just experiencing things when you open your heart that are new and you're uncertain. And that's where working with someone can be really helpful to bring in a deeper connection to your own discovery, your own openness of the heart and how things are evolving for you. So I'm really interested in understanding what you want to explore, feeling more deeply into your body, understanding your intuition, developing your healing skills. And I'm also developing an intuition course. And I really would love to hear more about your desires, about learning about your intuition. How can we also open our hearts in this age of artificial intelligence and discover more of what this human species is? That's one of my passions. But what are yours? So please put a comment in the video below the video, and also have a look for the survey that I have for your intuition course. I'd love to hear from you as well.